I am indescribably disappointed in Andy Serkis. He used a white nationalist dog whistle that Tolkien white supremacist fans have been using since around the time the movies came out, if not before, to explain why they only use white actors in The Lord of the Rings. If you've been in the Lord of the Rings fandom as long as I have, you understand, and have probably seen yourself, white nationalists, using the phrase or argument that Tolkien was inspired by Norse mythology and is English himself, so therefore we can only use white actors. Not only were there POC people in Lord of the Rings, there were multiple races that were described as brown, specifically as the hobbits. But Tolkien himself was inspired by stories from all across the world. One of the main storylines of The Lord of the Rings is having understanding and care for other races, even if you may not seem to identify with their culture. Let's make it as simple as possible. The elves and the dwarves. Gimli and Legolas' story is about the reunification of dwarves and elves in Middle-earth, and the two of them brought peace within each other, and therefore the mythological racism they had for each other disintegrated once they understood that they're both living beings who deserve life. So Peter Jackson failed the first time he made the Lord of the Rings movies and the Hobbit movies when he only hired POC and indigenous people of New Zealand for villains. He only hired them as orcs and Uruk-hai. And as grateful as I am for these movies, they failed. Could have even been better if there were POC actors like described in the story. So I'm very disappointed in Andy Serkis for not only using a white nationalist Tolkien fan dog whistle for white supremacy. This goes to show me that Andy Serkis is either dumb and just ignorant of the idea of POC being in Lord of the Rings at all, in Middle-earth stories at all, or he knows it and is spilling white supremacist dog whistles because he wants to, and is probably gross and doesn't have his morals in the right place, is the nicest way I can put that. And as a massive Lord of the Rings and Lord of the Rings movie fan for the past 10-15 years, I'm furious, especially because I'm not racist and I do want to see POC in story. And I don't think it's part of the woke agenda when POC people are in stories. I think it's just representation. And in this case, it's even more accurate. And even if it wasn't accurate to the books, who cares? I would rather the opportunity for POC children to look up at the movie screen and see themselves in a character than ever just have a completely white story. Like I said, as a massive Lord of the Rings fan, I'm very disappointed to say I might not even watch this movie, especially because Viggo Mortensen isn't gonna be on it. Which I know is his own choice, but I just love him so much. I also like Sean Astin and Ian McKellen. These are people that are good examples of anti-fascist and usually pro-workers' rights ideals.